But I don't think there is any strength in the relationships today. Young people lost their morals and their values and their sense of worth. So I think that has weakened their relationships. So I think that the older days, it was about patience and endurance and waiting. But now everybody want it now, want what they want when they want it. If you can't get it, you move on.
That younger people don't get to know each other well enough before they get intimate, and that robs them of a valuable experience of getting to know another person. I think it interferes with relationships emotionally.
My opinion about our generation's relationships with each other, as far as males and females, have basically deteriorated from past generations because we have a lack of guidance these days, especially from our elders who have not had as much guidance from their parents because of things that happened during the 60s and just the black community period during that time frame went through a lot. So I think with our generation we're dealing with a lot of images being put out toward the whole relationship and being in love. That's like anti-love generation. I think that's what we're dealing with nowadays. And a lot of people think that not to be in love, but to not love someone is the way to be. When in actuality, I believe everyone needs to be loved. So I don't know. It's very diverse. I guess situation, a topic. But that's my opinion on relationships in our generation.
So man, like my view of like the young people, what you want, the younger and the older, or just my perspective on the younger?
Younger people.
Young people, I don't know, man. I don't really think that like relationships be like. I don't really think they valued in nothing nowadays. I think they kind of last. You know what I'm saying? A couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a couple of months. But I think it's more like a kind of an experience or something. I think like young people want to, you know what I'm saying, just, I don't know, get the feel of different people, you know what I'm saying, different people bring about different relationships, basically, so it's like, I don't know, man, it's like, to me it's just a learning experience. That's what I see, that's what I get from it, that's kind of like what I got coming up throughout the years and everything, it's more of a learning experience and everything than being like so serious and stuff to, you know what I'm saying, leading up to like engagement and marriage, it's just basically all learning. That's about all I got to say for it.
Being this young, we haven't seen a lot of the things that can tear relationships apart. A lot of people don't have to worry about money and kids and stuff like that. So that can make a very strong relationship early on, but a lot of those end up getting destroyed by the things you encounter later in life. And I think that's why a lot of relationships that start when you're young don't always work out, because you run into things that weren't there when the relationship started. So even if it starts out really well, it's just like landmines that a lot of these young relationships hit and don't end up staying together because of those reasons.
Well, I feel that the strength of young people's relationship isn't as strong as today because you have like the media, they are influencing our young kids, saying that you can't trust people, and once you have like these powers influencing young people saying you can't trust men, you can't trust women, then they bring that into their relationship as a tool saying that, you're going out, you're doing this and you're doing that. Also, communication is a big problem with the young people today because sometimes our parents don't teach us how to communicate with our partners, and sometimes that just breaks down the relationship, and you can't see eye to eye on most things and on some things also. And also I feel that the strength isn't as important in today's relationship because we don't look at the inside of people, we look at the outside appearance, and that we're always, we want the fine dude or we want the fine girl, and we're also shallow as a society today. So that's why I feel like the strength of young people's relationship isn't as strong as today.
Hi, I think that the relationships between boys and girls are about the same as it always has been. It just depends on the boy and the girl and their commitment to each other. But I think they're just as strong as they ever have been. I know that I've seen several people that are in love, and I think they're really a lot more open than what they used to be in the past, and I think that's really good.
Well, a feeling about young people's relationships and marriage. Well, I'm 37. I've been married 8 years, and I waited a long time to get married because I wanted to find the right one. And I think that it should be about quality and not necessarily about what assets, but because in this era it's so important. Even with my children, I would definitely encourage character first, and then what you can bring to the table. But young people, I feel like it's about status and about the immediate sacrifice, and not the sacrifice, but the immediate, the right now. What can we do together right now? Is sex good? Is your money right? Do you have the right car? Do you have the right education? And if all those things into play, then we can get married. Not if I'm a good person, if we have the same faith, if we have the same values. So that's how I feel about that.
My opinion on relationships nowadays, modern age, is that we don't really have a lot of guidance. We kind of take a lot from what society, television, and culture, and our parents give us, and it kind of ends up twisted in this big melting pot of crazy ideas. Everybody's looking for something, and everybody keeps trying to fill that void, and the way society paints this picture that love is the ultimate big thing is very vapid and shallow. I honestly think we should try and put our time toward a lot of more personal endeavors, and you actually have to figure out who you are before you can figure out how to love somebody. You gotta love yourself. So it's really gotten worse to me over the years. We can do a lot better as people, and we need to stop thinking about what others are teaching us and what we want to actually learn.
I feel that a lot of guys could do a better job when they're courting females, but then at the same time, a lot of females can do a better job when they finally have a good man. So personally, I believe that it is possible to make a good man turn into what we call a dog, because if he doesn't feel appreciated, he's gonna feel like, well, if she likes somebody that doesn't treat her right, maybe I should do that, and then maybe I get the girl that I want. So it's just like a daily cycle. But that's all I have to say on that matter.
I feel that young people relationships are more or less something that's not as valued nowadays. You get in a relationship and it's more or less, you don't get in a relationship for exactly a person and their personality or their character. You get in the relationship for their physical attractiveness or things that maybe they might be popular or they might make you look good. People don't get in relationships nowadays for the right reasons. And so you find yourself in relationships that only last maybe a few months, or maybe seem like they're going somewhere for maybe a year, but you get this horrible breakup because you get into a relationship for the wrong reasons. When you get into a relationship for reasons for physical attractiveness and all the wrong things, it's always gonna work out badly. But when you see in the old times, people got together for things like personality, character, and they actually got together with the person for who they truly had feelings for and they valued as a person. When you can look at someone as more of a person and not someone that can help you as a tool, then that's when you truly have a good relationship. But nowadays, people are seen as less than people, so relationships don't last that long.
I think the strength of young people's relationship today, I think the strength is there. I think when they are committed and they are in love with a person, that it's just the same as the past. My more problem is that the weight that young people are willing to put up with in today's relationships. And maybe it's by looking at families and seeing that, my mom or my dad put up with so much of this for so many years, and then they ended up getting divorced or they're in an unhappy marriage. And so it's more that when things start getting tough or things start getting heavy, I think that's when people start to give up on the relationship and say, hey, it's just not meant to be.
What I think is it's not going to last because some little kids think they're in love, but really they in lust. They can't tell the difference from it. What you think?
I think so too. I think most people get love and lust confused. You know, after a while you spend with somebody and you feel like, oh man, I'm in love just because they do nice things for you, you hang with them. It's not really love. Like I was telling him the other day, I spoke with an older lady and I asked about her in a relationship with her husband. I think she's like 80-something years old. And I asked her what did it take for her relationship to last that long? You know? And she told me, and what she told me was it was common sense, but it's what people lack nowadays. She went on to tell me that in her generation, when things were broke, they fixed it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like nowadays, people they get in an argument or
I'ma leave you.
Yeah, and it be that simple, and it's just like that for them to leave. So.
And something else, society made divorce so easy.
Oh, yes.
$450 and you can leave. As long as you pay the court costs, your lawyer, you can leave. And something else, some people use marriage as a way to finance themselves.
Oh, yes, that's true.
So it's no love in it at all.
Yeah, I just feel like it's like little kids, like, you know what I mean, like they in the candy store, they get their choice. They see something they like, oh, I like this stuff, and next thing you see, they want that lollipop or, you know, that piece of candy. Like, it ain't, in today's society, I don't really think it's really love. No. It's more of a lust thing nowadays. So, yeah, I just don't feel like it's love.
Well,
I feel that the generation that we live with today is much more self-centered than in previous generations when it comes to a relationship. In past years, more couples were willing to compromise for each other, whereas today, if not all couples really look at what they need first before considering the needs of another person. And I really feel like that puts a damper on the relationship, because then trust issues, jealousy, you know, what do I want to do, what's going to make me happy rather than what's going to make us happy. So I really think that relationships now with this younger generation are nowhere near as strong than in previous generations.
I feel before at age 25 and under with relationships, I feel that everybody's focused on their goals and basically are not trying to be involved in a relationship. It's just basically casual dating.
Right, and you know, I mean, you're talking about a serious person at 25 and under. My perception of people 25 and under is that they're not really worried about a relationship, but probably more so physical attractiveness and sex and stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't think that it's real. I don't think that you can even perceive it as a relationship. Might be 2 or 3 people, but not very many.
A cultural difference, though.
Oh, yeah.
As African Americans, we get married later on, and as in Caucasians, they get married early, coming out of high school.
Now, I will say this. Me, myself, my first marriage, I got married at age 19. And I did take my relationship serious. But, you know, I was from a different breed.
I think, like right now, with the rise in single-parent homes, a lot of children, well, not children, young adults my age, relationships is more of an experimental thing. You know, you kind of trial and error, as opposed to having a parent or parents in your household to lead and guide you and tell you this is what you should and this is what you should not do in regards with relationships.
I do feel that the strength of the young people's relationship is somewhat weak. I think it's based a lot of times on the way a person looks, the type of car that they drive, their swag, so to speak. And those things are important, but at the end of the day, swag will decrease. You may not always have the best looking car. You might not be able to buy a Polo and Louis Vuitton, even though I love those brands. So I think it has to be something deeper than that. A person has to be trustworthy, because without trust, a relationship is doomed. Definitely have to communicate. I think that's probably a close second to trust, because if you don't communicate, some things that I've experienced in my current relationship is that in the beginning, I don't feel like my boyfriend communicated the way that he needed to, and because of that, there were some, gaps in trust and things like that. So I think the communication is definitely the key, and I think that, all in all, like I said, the superficial things are important because you need to be attracted to the person that you're with, but trust and communication are the things that are going to sustain a relationship for 50 years like my grandparents experienced before they passed.